What's up guys, Chris Solo here, and today I'm going to be talking about the regular show episode, Bad Kiss. This episode, according to Hulu, occurs in Season 3, Episode 39, the Season 3 finale. Now, this episode is an infamous regular show episode. It is crucial to regular show as a whole, but there's one little detail that everyone seems to be missing. Okay, this episode changes everything, or it's something inconsequential, depending on how you look at it. Okay, got my excellent hat, raise the stakes shirt. Let's get right into this. So, episode starts off. Mordecai, Rigby, Margaret, and Eileen. They're walking out of the Cineplex. They just watched the movie. Mordecai and Rigby are explaining, well, not explaining. They're discussing, the movie they just watched, as one tends to do. Then Mordecai comes up with the idea, hey, let's have some more shakes at the house. Everyone agrees. They go back to the house. Before they go in, Mordecai says, oh, I forgot something, and it's in Margaret's car. Okay, he goes back. He's rummaging around everything. He's looking for it. Margaret ends up helping Mordecai. Their eyes lock. They end up kissing. Margaret tells Mordecai, your breath smells bad. Breath stinks. Mordecai is obviously embarrassed. Starts to freak out. Gets out the car. Runs out. Takes Rigby, says more shakes are cancelled, good night. Okay, that's pretty much it. Then Mordecai and Rigby start discussing. Rigby apparently one day bought a $15 time machine. This won't be the first. No, this wasn't the first, nor will it be the last time that time travel is used in regular show. And the sound effect, every time that they do time travel, is the same sound effect used in Best Park in the Universe, the mobile game. Okay, so then the first time travel incident, they go back 15 minutes, 15 minutes before the conversation they're having. And this incident is pretty inconsequential. They just realize how this time travel thing works, and then just more or less they start to get to know more about it, okay? Then we have incident number 2. This one is probably one of the most crucial ones. Incident number 2, Rigby takes the time machine from Mordecai, plays around with it, and he goes back 2 months in time. Okay, and it's like a split second for us viewers. Then we move on to time travel incident number 3. Now, in this one, Mordecai and Rigby, they go back 2 hours before the conversation they're having, and they spawn at the Cineplex in the movie theater in the middle of the movie. You gotta pack a mint. So Mordecai tries to give his past self some mints by just chucking them at him. I don't know why he thought that would work, but he did want to avoid interacting with his past self due to time travel iffiness, and you know how it goes. Rigby then, he takes himself, tries to give Mordecai a handful. Mordecai is like, shut up, let me just watch, and then boom, the mints explode, fall to the ground, just spill everywhere. And then past Mordecai's confused. Mordecai and Rigby go back to the present time. Then we move on to time travel incident number 4. Mordecai and Rigby go back even further in time. Now this time is not disclosed. It could be 3 or 4 hours, most likely about 3.5 hours, I'm assuming, to when there's a chili dog food truck. Mordecai and Rigby try to get rid of the food truck. There's concrete blocks placed under the wheels, beside the wheels, however you want to see it. Take them off. The car rolls down the hill. The truck rolls down the hill, and then the chili dog that the worker was making, it drops, falls to the floor. Mordecai still eats it. Okay, so then they have to go back to the present again. Now we have time travel incident number 5. Mordecai decides to go back 7 hours in time. Okay, he wants to be full by the time the truck rolls around, so then he doesn't buy the chili dog. So they're at the coffee shop where Margaret and Eileen work. Margaret offers them the last piece of apple pie. They're like, no, we're saving it up for chili dogs. Then our Mordecai and Rigby, while Margaret's in the kitchen, they yell, hey, yo, Margaret, can we get 2 sandwiches and some fries? Then she's like, sure thing. She goes back to the table to pass Mordecai and Rigby. They're like, hey, we didn't order this. This goes back and forth for a little bit. and then it doesn't end up working out. Okay, so now we have to move on. Now we have what I would consider time travel incident number 6. Now we do not see Mordecai and Rigby time travel this time, but I'm assuming that this is a different timeline. Depends how you see it, you know. There's branch timelines or a singular timeline in regular show. This is before they're at the coffee shop because Mordecai's getting ready for the day. You'd assume that he'd do that before, not after going to the coffee shop, okay? And then past Mordecai, he decides to comb his hair instead of brushing his teeth, which both of them shouldn't be mutually exclusive. But then our Mordecai grabs a hold of past Mordecai, and then Rigby tries to shove mouthwash in his mouth. Obviously, it doesn't work. All three of them end up going back to the present. That means that past Mordecai is in the future. Then we have the time travel incident number 7. Three of them start discussing. Our Mordecai and Rigby bring past Mordecai up to speed, and he makes good points, you know. He's like, people from the future lie. You remember what happened with that band, the Mordecai and the Rigbys, and that's a very valid point. Also, he says, what do you mean we kissed Margaret and it went horribly? You kissed Margaret and I haven't kissed Margaret yet. And that is also a good point. And also, this is where the intricacies of time travel, you can't think about it too much, even though that's what I'm doing right now. Whether it's a branch timeline or it's a singular timeline where you're just moving forward and back. Because then you could have the mentality, right? If he fixes it, then he changes it for all of us. But for the sake of this episode, because there's time travel that happens in many episodes, even the movie, especially the movie in regular show. For this episode, we are going to say that these are branch timelines, okay? Because if we say it was a singular timeline, it creates much more complications. Time travel incident number 2 comes into play. When Rigby went back 2 months in time, he bought a second time machine. So now Mordecai and Rigby have a time machine to be able to go back in time and try to still fix things. Depends how you want to look at this. I'm gonna say that these are 2 separate incidents because it's 2 separate occurrences. I'm gonna call this time travel incident number 8 and 9. They happen almost simultaneously. Okay, so incidents 8 and 9 is past Mordecai going to the morning, and then our Mordecai and Rigby going to the morning as well, following him. We have past Mordecai go forward in time to the movie theater, which that's another discussion. We can discuss, like, how does he know about the movie theater, or he just assumed, right? You know, this is around the certain time that the movie is gonna be happening. But that's another conversation. They go back there, and then our Mordecai and Rigby follow him, where they time travel around the chili dog. So now they're going even further back in time, but the past Mordecai is going further ahead in time. Well, this one is just like kind of like a throwback Easter egg of when Mordecai, Rigby, Eileen, Margaret went camping, and then they were chased by that weird half deer, half human type of thing. Another Easter egg, it's a callback to Elo Govna, where you go back to the mascot guy, they run into him. Essentially, this is just a montage of callbacks. They go back to when Zompocalypse 3D happens. We go back to when the concert was happening, the Mordecai and the Rigby's concert. Or they go back to the Destroyer of Worlds when they were just setting up the chairs. If I'm correct, it should be the 2nd episode of season 1. We go to almost the exact moment to when Mordecai kissed Margaret. It's just like a couple seconds, I'd say even 90 seconds before. Mordecai says the exact time on purpose so then past Mordecai can hear him and they can meet them there. He says he has a plan. At this point, we have 3 Mordecais, okay? We have our Mordecai, we have the past Mordecai from the morning, and then we have the Mordecai of that time, 11:59. Now, 11:59 Mordecai gets pulled away by the past Mordecai. Okay, so that's how I'm going to be referring to them. Our Mordecai, past Mordecai, 11:59 Mordecai. Essentially, past Mordecai swaps places with 11:59 Mordecai. He ties him up, leaves him to the side of a bush, and then this is when our Mordecai finds past Mordecai instead of Margaret, as he was expecting. And this is the very crucial moment that changes everything and blew my mind. We have many things going on over here. 1159 Mordecai, tied up. Past Mordecai is being held by R. Rigby. And then R. Mordecai is about to redo the event that he's been trying the whole episode. R. Rigby takes Mordecai back to the present. Okay? They both take the time machines and they agree to destroy them. So we have R. Mordecai destroying the time machine in the 1159 timeline. And then we have Rigby destroying the time machine in the present timeline, which was the timeline that we've been following since season 1. Them destroying both time machines at you assume the same time, right? It doesn't really matter. Thing is, they both destroyed both Mordecai and Rigby destroyed both time machines. This makes 1159 Mordecai just disappear. Now, this in itself brings up another discussion of branch timelines or one singular timeline. This right here supports the theory that regular show is one singular timeline. But I'm not going to go into that because it is so complex and it's just going around in circles theorizing. Just for the sake of this episode, we're going to focus on this. Okay, and this is another thing that blows my mind. So, Mordecai, instead of kissing Margaret again, he doesn't have a mint or anything, he decides to not kiss her. Okay? So he did kiss Margaret once. It went horribly. He decides to 1159 Margaret. He does not kiss 1159 Margaret. Okay? So, right here, he stops that event from happening. That event stops happening, they don't have to time travel. It's a whole thing. Now, we have past Mordecai in the 1159 timeline with 1159 Margaret, 1159 Eileen, 1159 Rigby. And this is insane because you could think, why did 1159 Mordecai just disappear like that? If anything, why didn't current Mordecai, our Mordecai, disappear? Because he's in the wrong timeline, and since we just see 1159 Mordecai disappear, that means that our Rigby up to that point, he stayed in the timeline, and we can assume that they go back to the present, right? So that means past Mordecai takes place of our Mordecai in the new timeline. And then we have this current timeline, which is a timeline that we're going to follow from here on out. The 1159 timeline. Current Mordecai is the only one that we're following. So, now it doesn't matter because everyone's still the same, except one thing, we're following this timeline. That means that Rigby, our Rigby, the one that we've seen from season 1 to 3, this is a different Rigby. Now, they're essentially the same person. They're just hours apart, but those hours are crucial. Rigby has no idea about the time travel. And now, this makes me think of another question. In 1159, doesn't Rigby still have the time travel machine? And then you could even think, maybe he doesn't use it. I mean, it's Rigby, he's definitely going to use it, but maybe it doesn't affect all this. But you still have the time machine available, so I'm assuming maybe Mordecai destroys that time machine. And does destroying that time machine, does it affect another timeline? Or did just Mordecai be destroying 2 time machines? Did it destroy that third one? There's so many questions that this episode is honestly one of the best. And just think about that. The Rigby that we've seen for 3 full seasons of television, he's gone. He's in another timeline. And then think about that timeline. You have past Mordecai that he had like a full day removed, right? And then now he's with our Rigby in that timeline. And then we're assuming this will. Now, would I say it's a completely different regular show? I don't know, but I think it's a slight change, but it's an important change. You're changing people, and here as well, 1159 Mordecai is now in a new timeline. that the Rigby, it's not the same Rigby. Those hours that they spent, I'm gonna say, if they were time traveling for, like, who knows how long they're time traveling. You say a couple hours. That those are crucial hours. We're not just talking about playing video games one time, going to a movie, or going out to eat. No, we're talking about time travel that's going on. It could be even days, because they're time traveling. Now, I don't think it happened. I don't think days occurred when they were all fluctuating throughout the timelines. But I'm gonna say this again. 1159 Mordecai goes into the old timeline. This Rigby is not the same Rigby that we grew up with. It's not the same Rigby from season 1, 2, and 3. This is a completely different Rigby. That Rigby we leave behind in season 3. Season 4, we're following this Rigby again. We're following 1159 Rigby as if nothing happened. Okay? So, we've had about, I think, 22 to 23 incidents. Okay, we've had one past the 1159 Mordecai. He disappeared somehow, some way. Mordecai Rigby split up in timelines. Okay, Mordecai taking place in 1159, Rigby going back to the present, and then taking past Mordecai. Now, here's another question that comes up. How do we know we're following Mordecai? We're not following Rigby. Now, something crucial is that we end up, the episode ends in following Mordecai, which is, it's safe to say that we just, from now, here on out, we just follow Mordecai. And then obviously, Mordecai and Rigby have way more adventures, right? But that's still, that little difference, it's a small but big difference. It just boggles my mind. Okay, let me know if you enjoyed this video. This episode was, it's a great episode, and whenever time travel is involved, I love it, because that there might be inconsistencies, but it's still inconsistencies that make things fun. You can hyperanalyze, you can put your own spin on things. So yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.